Although this mission is a fan favorite with beginners, it's also extremely difficult to win it quickly. The opening strategy which I finally concocted is probably my most complicated and hectic beginning so far.
What is special about this place?
It is the center of Osiris' kingdom. That is his palace. Now, I need to get the piece to Setna.
I like what they did with the lighting here.
Setna is already a guest of ours. And now you are too. Take them to the prison.
Axemen are so terrible that we could totally beat that many. Oh well, nice little cinematic anyway. And this way we have an excuse to have a mission all about Amanra, who I do like.
Isis, hear my plea. I have been betrayed by a servant of Set. Send your blessing upon me, and I will have vengeance.
The first of many things to do is to send Amanra to all those green monuments around to convert them to my side and thus get more favor income. This mission is all about myth units, so favor is king. The gold I need is in the south, but there's an enemy tower in the way, so I need to have these villagers run in a circuitous path to get there alive. I have 3 town centers and a fair amount of starting resources on this mission. I'll need those to build a roaring gold economy. Now I can turn to the military. These Petsuchos here are extremely long-range myth units. I need to get them to work chipping down that tower which I mentioned earlier. These 2 villagers who appeared later will suffice for getting me the small amount of additional lumber that I need. I'll also need 1 siege tower, which is kind of like a melee Helepolis, and I'll throw down several mining camps around this gold. There's too much to do to be very precise about anything. The tower didn't take my crocodile bait, so I just heard 1 villager die to it. Meanwhile, Amanra can get the last monument and the much-needed second temple. I'll then get both temples control grouped and mass-producing crocodiles. Petsuchos are legendary in multiplayer, and although I can't use them to their full potential in this mission, they'll still be my bread and butter myth unit. I'd better get my melee troops back to safety. It's hard to keep your Sphinx out of trouble on this mission because they're very fast and have a very big aggression radius. Anyway, I'll try to take down the enemies a few at a time to thin their defenses out. Things are mostly under control now, so let me talk about Sphinxes for a moment. They're well-rounded classical myth units. Pretty strong, pretty tough, very fast. Their special attack is to turn into a sandstorm for a few seconds. It deals light area of effect damage. People often say it makes them invincible, but as far as my tests show, that's completely false. I'll just keep gathering my troops up and training crocodiles to prepare for the big fight that's coming in a few seconds here. 1 big wave of enemies. Because the terrain is both constricted and cluttered, and because I have so many different unit types under my control, I'll probably take a couple of casualties here. It's to be expected. And now it's about time I got that massive range upgrade for my Petsuchos. It's also about time I got my Scarabs attacking the enemy buildings here. Scarabs are terrible myth units. You will never, ever see me train one voluntarily. They're even bad at their one job of destroying buildings because they're so slow and so vulnerable. Adding insult to injury, they have just about the dumbest special ability in the entire game. When they die, they deal a pitiful 20 or so damage to all nearby enemies. So you spend hundreds of resources on a unit which inevitably gets killed easily and then bear the scratches the enemies that did it. I've aggroed a few more enemies than I wanted to, but this battle is always really chaotic. I'll go find my pharaoh while the battle goes on. He spawns somewhere or other a few minutes into this mission. I'll have him empower the temple to give me more Petsuchos faster. Whoa, I do not want to fight that tower. If that tower dies, I get some bonus scarabs, which, besides being totally worthless, also immediately aggro the most dangerous enemies on the entire mission. Kind of iffy level design there. The whole reason I took this strange route was so that I could instead sneak along this bottom passage here and break open that wall. I'll use Eclipse to power up my myth units, then crowd them all in here as fast as I can. Eclipse makes myth units faster, a massive 50% stronger, and lets them use their special abilities more often. Meanwhile, I need to get Amanra and the siege tower working on a very different objective. And now I'll focus everything on that Migdol stronghold, which is the mission objective. One very important thing to watch for is that your Petsuchos will often block each other and mill about doing nothing. That's a common problem with mass ranged in many RTSs. The solution is always to order them to move just a little bit forward together and then attack again. I'd better get the siege tower sneaking into position again. Amanra too. Once that Migdol stronghold, yes, alright. Now I don't care about the army anymore. The next objective is only about Amanra. This wall isn't guarded anymore, so the siege tower can now take it down. I wonder why Kemps's voice was suddenly completely different in that line. By the way, you can win this mission trivially in about 30 seconds by having Amanra just run here to the wall, jump over it, and go to the ship. But in this Let's Play, I always do all mission objectives, so that wasn't an option. Oh, you see how that son of Osiris there is killing my entire army of myth units? They actually have 3 of those guys, 2 of them in the spot I mentioned I was trying to avoid aggroing. They can kill about 50 myth units in a few shots. Osiris must be just a lousy dad, because all his sons are on the enemy side. Now this transport here will join me once Amanra gets close to it.
Amanra.
There we go, the mission is basically in the bag. I just need to run up north now to get a free navy. By the way, the city of Abydos where this mission is set was actually a real city in ancient Egypt. However, it isn't coastal as they depicted it for whatever reason. It's actually hundreds of miles inland to the south. I believe the ancient Egyptian name for it was more like Abidu. The Greeks just called it Abydos, that's where we get the name from. They named it after this totally unrelated city on the Hellespont for whatever reason, which can be confusing when you're reading ancient Greek histories which involve both cities sometimes. Anyway, I do enjoy this mission, but it would be much more fun if you could get to the Mythic Age and thus have more myth unit options available. I'll just group these ships up and have them tank for Amanra as I rush the prison. Just sail past all this pretty scenery once again. These turtles, by the way, are fairly solid naval myth units. The only thing that holds them back is that their ship-throwing special ability actually just kind of wastes about 10 seconds of their time. So, I'll just drop off Amanra and have her run into the prison area. And there's Chiron, somehow or other. You may note he was actually missing in the intro. The following cinematic has some of my favorite lines. Plus I like the camera work and all the poses. Very well done all in all.
So, Setna, all the other priests of Osiris were imprisoned too? Some were left to die in the desert. But why did he want to kill Osiris?
Then you truly do not know.
You always seem to hide behind something when I see you, Cyclops.
I love that
You
one.
interrupted me in Greece, escaped the underworld, and arrived here before me. There is no way you did this on your own. I will know which gods support you. Now.
Lord Poseidon watches over all the people of Atlantis.
Lord Poseidon? You're more a fool than I expected. Let's see if he's watching over you now.
Ominous foreshadowing and an awesome rescue,
You may feel less like fighting after I pull off your head.
thus establishing his catchphrase.
All in due time. We have more pressing matters to attend to at Osiris's pyramid.
It took a while to devise that strategy, but it was worthwhile for that spectacular 6-minute win. Have a great day, everyone.